Ladies and gentlemen, dear colleagues, first of all, let me express my gratitude to UNEP Finance Initiative for giving me the opportunity to speak at this important event. We know that the transition to a climate-compatible economy is both crucial and challenging. This is particularly true for developing countries and emerging economies. While it is very likely that our partners in these countries and regions will have to bear the biggest share of the costs of the climate crisis, they often lack adequate resources to address the mounting challenges ahead. That is why BMZ is supporting partner countries in transforming their economies and successfully managing this transition. For this purpose, Germany is actively working with partners on the African continent and beyond, ensuring that their transformation processes are both socially and environmentally sound, that they are just is a priority in this regard. The financial sector has a pivotal role to play in driving and financing the economic transformation. To live up to that role, the financial sector will also have to transform itself in a profound way in industrialized and developing economies alike. This will be a significant undertaking and will require a rewiring of informed decision-making in financial institutions. It is also a great chance, the opportunity to shape a sustainable world and to prepare institutions for that new world. While awareness and commitments are rising, we note that financial institutions worldwide face significant challenges when it comes to moving from pledges to implementation. This is often due to a lack of in-house capacity, but a fractured sustainable finance landscape with a multitude of initiatives and standards also makes change difficult. This is why BMZ is happy to partner with UNEP FI and the Chartered Banker Institute on establishing the Principle of Responsible Banking Academy. The Academy will provide orientation and the key building blocks to put sustainability at the core of investment decisions. Through this partnership, we want to accelerate the adoption of sustainable banking practices worldwide so that the finance industry can play its part in contribution to a just transformation. Let me make just one more important remark. Germany strongly believes in the importance of partnerships and multilateral cooperation. Together with UNEP FI as a global convener for the banking industry and the Chartered Banker Institute as the world's oldest professional banking body, we are an excellent team to bring the Academy to life. With our combined expertise, we will be able to reach significant scales. Along with our colleagues at GIZ, we are delighted to contribute our strong global partner network in developing country and emerging economies. We are excited to see the first in-country training courses in Egypt, India, and Mexico kick off very soon, and to see this strong partnership bear fruit. I'm confident that the Academy will make a significant contribution towards driving the transition in the financial sector globally. Thank you very much for your attention. I'm now looking forward to an interesting discussion.
I would now like to turn to my colleague Eric Usher, head of UNEP FI, as well as Simon Thompson, who is the CEO of the Chartered Banker Institute. The Institute is an educational charity that has for over a century been at the forefront of supporting bankers at all stages in their careers, develop and maintain professional knowledge and skills. It was also the first of its kind to ensure that its learning programs included an ethical approach to exercising professional knowledge and judgment. Simon and Eric are here today to tell us a bit more about an innovative new partnership between UNEP FI, the Chartered Banker Institute, as well as Germany's GIZ, who's one of the largest organizations for international development cooperation worldwide. And that partnership has led to the launch of the Principles for Responsible Banking Academy, or in short, PRB Academy. Simon, I'd like to ask the first question to you. Many of us watching today, they might not immediately see where an understanding sustainability issues fits within their day-to-day. Can you maybe share with us where you see its relevance to those working in banks?
Certainly. Well, speaking at COP26 last year, UN Special Envoy Mark Carney called for every professional financial decision to take account of climate change. And I think many of us in the PRB community would extend this to taking a broader range of environmental and social sustainability factors into account too. Now, if every professional decision is to take these factors into account, then it surely follows that every finance professional, every banker, every one of us needs at least a basic knowledge of these issues. And we need to be able to apply that knowledge in the context of our daily professional practice. Now, this doesn't mean that we need all bankers to become climate scientists and sustainability experts, far from it. What we need are banks and bankers who do what we as bankers do best when we are at our best, and that is transforming unproductive savings into productive lending and investment. In this case, in the new firms, the new sectors, the new technologies that we need for a more climate resilient, sustainable world, and especially supporting the socially just transition of existing sectors and firms from high to low carbon models. Now, this needs the professional and technical knowledge and skills of banking and finance just as much as it needs that knowledge of climate and sustainability. And it needs those professional skills to be deployed in the assessment of risk, in considering lending, in investment, in the design of products and services, in the advice we give to our clients and customers through that lens of sustainability. And this needs to be done not just by a small number of specialists in central sustainability teams, but ultimately by all bankers everywhere. So I think we need to be as ambitious and as urgent in scaling the capacity and the capabilities of the banking sector as we need to be in other areas of the transition, because without this, we're not going to achieve the targets we set ourselves as PRB signatories, and we won't be in a position to help our clients, our customers, our colleagues, and our communities take advantage of the opportunities offered by the transition.
Thank you, Simon. Eric, over to you. What initially led UNEP FI to actually consider setting up the PRB Academy? And can you tell us a bit more about what you see as the main objectives of the Academy now that it is actually launched?
Sure. Thanks very much, Joanna. Banks really need to play a key role in pivoting the global economy to one that is more sustainable, including certainly making the orderly transition to net zero. But an impactful transformation requires efforts from everyone, and from bank employees to senior executives, board members, and all really. And the principles for responsible banking, it is the world's sustainable banking framework. 300 banks today, representing around 45% of global banking assets, have committed to the 6 principles centered around impact measurement and aligning one's business and portfolio with society's most pressing objectives. When we designed the PRB framework to help banks embed sustainability into the core business, we have to go further to basically help them take action to align their core strategy, their decision-making, their lending and investment with society's goals, such as those expressed by the UN Sustainable Development Goals or international agreements, such as the Paris Climate Agreement. Now, after we launched the principles in 2019, the signatory banks started collaborating to find ways to implement the framework into their daily operations, and the Academy builds on that work. For this reason, the PRB Academy's initial curriculum has been developed to really closely reflect the goals that society has set, such as the SDGs and the Paris Agreement. Banks around the world, they really are challenged, I think, to be able to skill up and acquire the knowledge in areas such as climate change, such as nature loss, such as the wide raft of social issues. So our main objective in building this academy is to enable all bank employees to upskill their knowledge on environmental and social issues. And building an understanding of the application of the responsible banking principles and practices in their day-to-day work is key. This has to be relevant to how we do business, and this is what the PRB Academy is for.
That actually leads me to my next question to you, Simon. And the Institute has been working at the leading edge of sustainable finance education for bankers for some time now. What do you think makes this global academy now so unique compared to what is already in the market? And how do you envisage the academy develop over the next 5 years?
Well, thanks. Well, I think Eric's already touched on some of the unique features, so kind of let me build on that. I think there's three things that make the Academy particularly unique: our scale of ambition, our global reach in partnership with UNEP FI and the 300 PRB banks, and also what we're teaching and how we teach it. Firstly, if we think about the scale of ambition, UNEP FI, GIZ, and ourselves at the Chartered Banker Institute all understand that to truly align banking and finance with society's goals, as Eric mentioned, this needs building the capacity, the capabilities of the banking sector globally, not just dedicated sustainability teams. Important though they are, we will only mainstream responsible banking when we mainstream sustainable finance knowledge and skills right across banking, in the front line, in the back office, in boardrooms, and in branches, so that all strategic decisions, all lending decisions, all product and other decisions, all decisions taken at all levels take sustainability into account. Now, there's several million bankers working in the 300 PRB banks alone, so that is a very large number of bank staff that we and the PRB banks need to train over the next 5 years. That's an ambitious goal, but it's also a very, very necessary goal. Second, linked to this is the Academy's global reach. We want to build the capacity and capabilities of banks and the knowledge and skills of bankers all around the world, both the 300 PRB banks, but many banks that are not yet members of the PRB, but we hope will be in the future, both through high quality online education and training, which is our initial focus, on the foundations of responsible banking, on climate change, on engaging with customers and clients, responsible banking for bankers and boards. And with thanks to GIZ and other funding partners, we can make the Academy's education and training as accessible as possible to as many as possible. We want to remove the barriers to developing responsible banking knowledge and skills. And then as UNEP FI, the PRB banks and the Chartered Banker Institute continue to develop and build the Academy and its curriculum and provide new options for learning, we'll work with accredited partners around the world to deliver the Academy's education and training, not just online, but in person, in country, and in partnership with national banking institutes, business schools, and many others, so that we build the capacity and capabilities of education and training bodies as well, so that they can build the capacity and capabilities of their national and regional banking sectors. So this isn't just an education initiative, it's a truly strategic initiative about capacity and capability building. And the third unique feature of the Academy is that we're not focused on teaching bankers just about climate change and sustainability. And that might be surprising, so let me unpick that quickly. The Academy programme has been developed by my colleagues and I at the Institute, the oldest institute of bankers in the world, in close collaboration with UNEP FI and a curriculum committee of some 20 PRB banks. And what our expertise and that insight tells us is required is responsible banking education and training, contextualised with sustainability. We're not trying to turn all bankers into sustainability experts. What we want to do is give bankers the tools they need to apply a responsible banking sustainability lens to their professional practice as bankers. And this is really unique. And it's also how we can align banks and bankers with the principles of responsible banking and ensure our banking sector, our banking profession, creates genuine and shared prosperity for all. The education and training needed for this has never been available at such scale until now. So when banks ask, where do we start our responsible banking? Where do we start our PRB journey? The PRB Academy is the answer.
Thank you, Simon. Very exciting. Now that we heard all about those features and the uniqueness of the Academy, of course, there's a question now, how can I join? How can I participate? What's the next step for anyone interested? For example, can they register, or is this only open to signatory banks? Eric, could you maybe please elaborate a bit?
Sure, and as we've said, the Academy has been designed to help PRB signatories implement the responsible banking framework across all their lines of business, and we expect all 300 plus signatories will make the Academy available to their employees. But it's not just available to signatory banks. You know, our goal is to upskill banking professionals around the world and to prepare them for the huge challenges they, their businesses, and their customers are facing, from climate change, from nature loss, pollution and waste, social issues, and more. And from large multinational banks with big sustainability departments to smaller banks with fewer resources, particularly those who are in emerging markets and developing nations, this online program will be available to all banks. We look forward to you joining us all together, we can take the next steps towards the future of banking. Thank you very much.